All right, welcome back to Open Line. We have so much enjoyed having you join us this evening for a great conversation with our dear friends of Creekside at Three Rivers Assisted Living and Memory Care. We love having you here tonight.
Thank you.
And what a great conversation we've had so far. I feel like we've talked about a lot of topics. We've had some great calls come in. And of course, I always like to remind folks that if maybe you didn't want to call in tonight, that's perfectly fine. We understand. But they can always reach out to you all as well.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. And tell them where they can go one more time.
You can go to our website, creeksideassistedliving.com, or our Facebook page. That is Creekside at Three Rivers Assisted Living. We have an Instagram page as well, a Twitter account. So we're very involved in the networking world.
Wonderful. So, to say very, very up to date.
We are. So those are all, I think, the best ways to see what's going on in the community. And of course, you can always call us at 615-895-3002 to schedule a tour or ask more questions.
You have not messed up that number once tonight. I am very impressed. So she's got it right here. So just to reintroduce you all again, maybe folks are joining us here on the back part of our show. We've had such a great time, but I just want to make sure folks know your names again. We have Katie Keach, she's the Director of Operations, and we have Amy Kelly, who is the Marketing Director. And again, tell folks a little bit about, I'll start with you, Katie. You're just your day-to-day at Creekside. What's a typical day like? And kind of being, you know, Director of Operations, big job, lots of things I'm sure it entails, but tell us what your day is typically like.
I help our Executive Director make sure that our building stays state compliant. Right now I'm actually also helping hiring new employees and making sure that everything that they have is that they're up to date with all their state regulations and teaching them about memory care and just things like that.
What's one of your, I'm going to put you on the spot here, favorite things about just being in this line of work? I know it's rewarding. I can see that in your faces tonight when you talk, you know, just so many different questions have come your way and you all are knowledgeable and you're also excited. So tell me, what are some of the things that stand out to you?
I think one of the most rewarding things for me is just giving back to our seniors in our community. And me being from Murfreesboro, I actually get to serve population that I know. I actually had a teacher that I had in elementary school that was in our memory care, and she would look at my name tag and she would remember my last name. And I don't know if that's a good thing, or from being in elementary school, I did have two brothers, so I'll blame that on them. But she remembered my last name just from elementary school. So I think it's rewarding and giving back to our seniors because they took care of us. And just helping them when they're in this stage of life is really rewarding.
Well said. And of course, the same question for you, Amy.
Yeah, Katie kind of said exactly what I was thinking. I think it's so important to give back to our seniors. They have so much wisdom, and they have been through so much and have raised generations. And I think it's so important to be able to go to a place every day for work that they call home and provide a secure and a loving environment for them to live in. So to me, that's what I love the most.
Has there ever been a resident or maybe a time where someone has said something to you that really stood out along the lines of, you know, I thought I was going to be giving up my independence when in fact I gained it back and some? Any times that, you know, story like that?
Well, mine really is a personal story. It's my, like I've mentioned him a couple times, my grandfather. He was very resistant to assisted living until it was his idea 4 months later. And but when he moved in 2 months into it, he just really didn't like it. He until we talked to him and said, you need to get involved, you need to make friends. And once he did that, he said he wishes he had moved there 2 years before. And I just think he didn't realize how isolated he was and how alone he felt until he wasn't alone anymore. So to me, it's a personal story. I think that is why I do what I do. So
also well said. Yeah. What do you want to encourage folks maybe tuning in tonight that have been joining us this hour? Maybe they'll go back and watch this online. Something that you really want people to take away from tonight. Maybe something you want them to do after watching this, or remember, or start implementing in their day-to-day.
I think that when you're searching for assisted living placement, the first thing I always recommend is to tour, to call and to tour the building, because like every building is very different, and I think it's so important. Creekside, when you walk in, it's large enough that you can spread out and enjoy different activities, but it's small enough to feel like home, and I think that is why people love living there. So I think touring is the first step. Like Katie said earlier, talking to the residents. Every tour I do in the building, a resident will stop and talk to them, and I get nervous sometimes. I'm like, what are they going to say? But they always say great things. They're always like, oh, I love it here. This is wonderful. And for me, that is great because I think it's a true testament to what we do there.
Definitely is. In fact, earlier tonight, if you missed it, Amy was encouraging folks you can set up an appointment, which I'm sure makes things easier for you to prepare, but you actually are encouraged to swing by and just pay a pop-up visit.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's great. We're always available. We're available on weekends for tours. I know that evenings and weekends are easier for families sometimes after work, so that if that is best for you, you just let us know. I come in on Saturdays if I need to meet with families, so I think that's important for them to know as well.
You know, and we are in Music City, so here in our last minute or two here, I do want to briefly touch on one more of my favorite things. We talked about food and pets, but I also always like to talk about the music memory and how that affects residents, and what exactly is it?
Right. Well, music memory, we do that. We have entertainment that comes in very frequently, and I think anyone with any memory issue, the one thing that they can remember is music. It's absolutely amazing. We can have residents who are almost nonverbal, but if you put headphones on them, they start singing old songs. A lot of times, I came from hospice before this, and the same with our hospice patients at end of life. It's so important to play music because it just brightens their day. So we really encourage music throughout our building and entertainment to come in. And in memory care, we do put headphones on and things like that. We ask the families what music did they enjoy listening to, and those are the things that we'll do for them.
I always think it's good to mention the music therapy when you all come to visit us, because we are in Nashville and it's a big part of our culture here, and so it's a great thing that you all do provide that. Well, I tell you what, our show is coming to a close in, but we do have one more goodbye to give here, so keep it right here on News Channel 5+, where we're going to wrap things up here in just a minute with our friends at Creekside. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this quick break.